Picture a couple on a road trip. They have been driving for 4 hours. She suggests they switch so he can rest. He declines. Another hour passes. She asks again. He says he is fine, not tired. By hour 6, his eyes are heavy, his grip tight from fatigue, but when she reaches for the keys at the gas station, he pulls them back instinctively. This is not about being a gentleman. This is not about loving to drive. This is about something far more complex, operating beneath the surface, revealing deep truths about control, trust, and how people relate to objects versus humans. People who refuse to let anyone else drive their car are expressing control that goes beyond vehicle ownership. They might offer practical reasons. They know the car best, understand its quirks, worry about damage, but watch closely and you will see something else. The resistance is visceral, almost physical. The idea of someone else behind their wheel creates genuine anxiety. This is not rational calculation. This is psychology operating at a level most people never examine. Research in control psychology shows humans have a fundamental need for autonomy and agency. We need to feel we have power over our environment. For some people, this need becomes acute in specific domains. The car becomes one of those domains. It represents a sphere where they maintain absolute control in a life that might feel chaotic elsewhere. Letting someone else drive means surrendering that control, and that surrender feels genuinely threatening. There is a man named David who lives in Seattle, married for 12 years. His wife has a license, clean record, years of experience. But David has never let her drive his car. Not to the store, not on trips, not in emergencies. When asked why, he struggles to articulate it. He says she drives differently, does not check mirrors the same way, brakes too hard, but she drives her own car perfectly fine. The issue is not her capability. The issue is David's need to maintain control of something he considers an extension of himself. This reveals a crucial psychological concept, the extended self. For many people, their car is not just a possession. It becomes part of their identity, an extension of their physical self. The boundaries of who we are do not stop at our skin. They include objects we invest time, money, and emotion into. When someone else drives your car, it can feel like they are inhabiting your body, making decisions with your extended self. This creates profound discomfort. There is also a trust dimension. When you refuse to let someone drive your car, you are making a statement about trust. You are saying you do not trust them to care for something valuable the way you would. This becomes particularly complicated in intimate relationships. A partner trusted with emotional vulnerability, finances, raising children, but not with car keys. The message this sends is complicated and often hurtful. Yet the person refusing often cannot overcome the anxiety enough to change. Perfectionism plays a significant role. People who refuse to let others drive often have perfectionist tendencies. They have a specific way things should be done, and watching someone else do it differently creates stress. Every time another driver makes a choice they would not make, it reinforces their belief that only they can do it correctly. This perfectionism is often rooted in anxiety about outcomes. If something goes wrong, they want it to be their fault, because at least then it was within their control. The territorial aspect is also worth examining. Humans are territorial. We mark spaces as ours and feel discomfort when boundaries are crossed. A car is personal territory, a mobile private space. Letting someone else drive is allowing them into the driver's seat, literally and symbolically. For some people, this triggers the same discomfort as someone rearranging furniture without permission. It is a boundary violation that feels wrong even if rationally it should not matter. Attachment theory provides additional insight. People develop different attachment styles based on early experiences with caregivers. Those with anxious or avoidant attachment styles often struggle with trust and control in relationships. Interestingly, these same patterns can extend to object relationships. Someone with anxious attachment might cling to control of their car as a safe, predictable relationship where they cannot be hurt or disappointed. The car will not betray them. It is safer to attach to than to trust a human, even a loved one. Consider what happens when these people are forced to let someone else drive. Maybe an injury prevents them from driving, or a medical emergency requires someone else to take the wheel. The anxiety they experience is often disproportionate to the actual risk. They become backseat drivers, offering constant instruction, pointing out every perceived error, unable to relax. This is not about the other person's driving ability. This is about the loss of control, creating genuine psychological distress. Their nervous system is activated as if they are in danger, even when objectively they are not. There is also an interesting gender dimension worth noting. Men, particularly, often tie driving to masculine identity. Being the driver is being the protector, the one in control, the one making decisions for the group's safety. Allowing someone else to drive, especially a female partner, can feel like a surrender of that masculine role. This is cultural conditioning, not biological reality, but it operates powerfully nonetheless. Women who refuse to let others drive their cars often face different stereotypes, labeled as control freaks or anxious, when the underlying psychology is often identical to their male counterparts. The impact on relationships can be significant. Partners report feeling infantilized, not trusted, excluded from shared responsibility. Road trips that should be shared experiences become one person's burden and the other person's frustration. Over time, this pattern can symbolize larger trust and control issues in the relationship. The car becomes a stand-in for broader questions about partnership, autonomy, and mutual respect. Therapists sometimes use driving resistance as a window into understanding deeper relational dynamics. What is particularly interesting is how rarely these people recognize the pattern in themselves. If you ask them directly whether they have control issues, many will deny it. They see their refusal as perfectly reasonable, justified by legitimate concerns about their vehicle. The idea that it might reveal something about their psychological needs feels like overanalysis. Yet the same person might control other aspects of shared life in similar ways, always needing to be the one who handles finances, or plans trips, or makes major decisions. The car is just one visible manifestation of a broader pattern. Some people who refuse to let others drive have had traumatic experiences that reinforce this need for control. Maybe they were in an accident as a passenger. Maybe they witnessed someone else's careless driving cause damage. These experiences create legitimate anxiety that gets generalized. But even in these cases, the refusal to work through the anxiety, to gradually rebuild trust, reveals something about how the person handles fear and control. They choose isolation and total control over vulnerability and trust building. The psychology also varies by what the car represents. For some, it is a significant financial investment, perhaps the second most expensive thing they own after their home. Letting someone else drive feels like risking that investment. For others, the car is a hobby, a carefully maintained machine they have customized and perfected. Letting someone else drive is like letting them edit your manuscript or rearrange your art collection. And for others still, the car is a status symbol, and only they should be seen driving it. Only they should control how it is presented to the world. Understanding the psychology of people who refuse to let anyone else drive their car reveals something important about human needs for control, trust, and autonomy. It shows how objects can become extensions of self in ways that create genuine emotional attachment and anxiety. It demonstrates how past experiences, personality traits, and relationship patterns all converge in this one seemingly simple behavior. The person gripping those keys is not just protecting a vehicle. They are protecting a sense of control in a world that often feels uncontrollable, maintaining boundaries in relationships where vulnerability feels dangerous, and preserving a space where they feel completely unquestionably in charge. That is not stubbornness. That is psychology working exactly as it was designed to, even when it creates conflict and misunderstanding with the people closest to them.